In this video article, we're going to look at the scarcest resource that most writers are short of and 3 ways that you can fix that. Before we get started, if you want to get an email with a timestamped overview every time I release a new video like this, head over to my website at deliberate-practice.com and sign up for my email list. Coming soon, and today is the 29th of October, I'll be starting to put together a course which will be a series of short videos. I will put them all together and release them on YouTube. It will be called How to Write Your First Short Story, obviously aimed at beginner writers. If you signed up for my email list, you'll get access to that. Each short section, 10-15 minute section, will have its own page with timestamp notes and maybe an implementation guide and other stuff like that, but on YouTube it will just be like a 3-hour video. So do go and sign up for that, and then let's get started. So there's no prizes for guessing what the scarcest resource most writers are short of is, and that's time to write. And now this isn't a video about time management, but I'm going to suggest 3 ways that you can create more writing time, and you can pick and choose from those 3 ways. In an ideal scenario, you do all 3, and one thing that I'll reiterate through the course of the video is if you can only add enough time to add 250 words to your daily word count, that over the course of the next 12 months, that's around 90,000 words. So if you did each of these 3 things and added 250 words for each of them, that would be 270,000 words. Anyway, what you pick, what you choose to do, will have to fit into your lifestyle and your writing goals as well. But even if you only start with one of these and add an extra 250 words a day, that's a great start. Let's dive in. So the first suggestion is stop watching TV, and I'm going to preface that with a true story. So back in September 2008, Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. I don't know if you remember, but the knock-on from that event sparked a global recession. The business that I currently ran at that point in time, literally on the 15th of September 2008, the phone stopped ringing, and it didn't ring again for 11 months. So I had to pivot to another business, build it from scratch to generate revenues. That required long hours of work and effort, and some sacrifices. Things that I weren't prepared to sacrifice were things like getting the kids up in the morning, taking them to school, picking them up from school, spending time before they went to bed. They were young at that point. They used to go to bed about 7:30, reading their stories at night. Wasn't prepared to sacrifice any of that, so I would work before they got up, I would work while they were at school, and I would work when they went to bed till about midnight. And I did that, and it was brutal for about 18 months. And one of the sacrifices I had to do in order to do that was to not watch any TV. Now, this was a beneficial thing because most TV is dire and it doesn't add anything to your life. So what you need to do is go on a TV diet. Cut out news programs, reality TV of any sort, political programs, shitty soap operas. So like in the UK, if you watch things like Coronation Street or EastEnders, they're just not of the right quality to watch. If you think you need to know news, I've got a quick AI hack that you can do. Go to perplexity.ai, type in, can you bullet point out the 10 biggest news stories in the UK at the moment, and Perplexity will come back and source 10 from places like Reuters and the BBC, and you'll be up to date with the news, and there'll be no specific political slants on that. You'll just go, okay, those are the news programs, or the news items rather. I might need to know more on that one. Get Perplexity to tell you about that one. 5 minutes time, you're up to date with the news. You don't need to watch any news programs. The only thing that you should watch: quality films, quality TV series. This is all about filling the tank, something I've talked about in other videos. What that means is adding narrative ideas, scene ideas from quality films and quality TVs to the subconscious collection of those things that you have. A metaphor that I came across recently that's quite appropriate is creating a mental kaleidoscope, and you do that by stuffing images, character ideas, story ideas, fight scenes, car chases, romantic meets, whatever genre you are writing in. You should watch related genres in terms of quality films and quality TV shows, and they put little things into the back of your brain, create this kaleidoscope, and then you jumble it with your unique story ideas, story perspectives, and those ideas will come out and show up in your stories, but in ways where you're taking ideas and inspiration, but you're rejumbling, recombining in ways that people haven't seen before. So fill the tank. And you don't have to have an immediate detox, but one idea I suggest is audit your TV watching. So what that means is keep a notebook, write in that notebook every day what you watch, how long. At the end of the week, review it, put an X in a column at the end against all the programs that are worthless and shit. And that will show you how much time you're wasting doing that. And just removing that will free up anything from 30 minutes to several hours a day that you can reinvest in your writing dreams and writing goals much more productively. If you free up only enough time to write 250 words a day, and for me on a good day that's just 5 minutes of writing time, you just added 90,000 words to your annual output. Again, I'll be reiterating that point at several times through this video. And so you know, TV is mostly rot. It's not designed to challenge you. It's designed as a soporific, and what the TV companies want is you to watch their programs so they can get you to the adverts, because the adverts are what support those TV. That's traditional classic TV. If you're watching kind of TV style programs on places like Netflix, what they're designed to do is give you something and then give you something more, so you're using the subscription and so you'll renew it. So if you're not making the most of your subscription and you're watching stuff that's not designed to challenge you, is not instructive for you, is not supporting your goals and dreams as a writer, just fucking purge it from your life. It will be so much benefit to you. It's one of the things that I look back on and think, wow, I wish I'd done that 20 years before, because you waste so much time watching something that doesn't add any value to your life. So just get rid of it, purge it. Okay, this same applies for social media. Social media is just as pernicious as TV. That means Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, which, as you can see when I programmed the slide, I wasn't very impressed with, and anything else like that. The best thing you can do is to actually go to those sites and delete the accounts, so you're not on there, you're not getting notifications. If you use your phone a lot, so I'm weird in that for many years, and only when the pandemic struck and you had to have proof of the stupid vaccination things on your phone, that was when I moved from what people call a dumb phone to a smartphone. My kids were always embarrassed by their friends seeing my phone on the dashboard of the car when I used to take them to basketball and stuff, and all my son's friends would say, "Are you a drug dealer because you've got a burner phone?" And obviously they've been watching Breaking Bad and stuff like that, but I never used to have a smartphone until 2020. I don't have any social media accounts whatsoever on my phone. I use my phone for texting my kids, messaging my kids when they were in the Far East on both of their travels. It was great because I was able to WhatsApp with them, so I use it for that, and I use it for playing chess, and I have the AA app on it, so if my car breaks down, I can call the AA by pressing a button on my phone, and that's kind of it. So don't use your phone for anything like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, any of those kind of things. Delete your accounts if you can. Now, caveat, you might use some of these accounts for promo reasons. So some people, especially authors, use TikTok for creating content to try and promote their books. So obviously you need to keep those. I use YouTube, obviously. I post these videos to YouTube. I also, my music stuff, I post videos to YouTube there. Twitter, I did have an account, still have an account. I haven't deleted it, but I can't remember the last time I went onto Twitter. Facebook, I have an account, and I've been posting some of my writing videos, some of these kind of videos to that. So I do have an account, but I don't use them. They're a waste of time, and they do things, and I'll talk about it now. So social media, if you've ever seen the film, I think it's called The Network Effect. It was on Netflix, and it was about how some of the influences that social media have had, and they're all very negative. So for example, attempted suicide rate in girls in America has gone through the roof since Facebook shipped natively with the iPhone, which I think was 2008, 2009. And I saw a reel popped up in my YouTube feed yesterday, which I watched about 20 seconds of, and things like anxiety and depression have gone through the roof since social media shipped natively on iPhones and then Android phones. It was on iPhones first, but social media is designed to trigger dopamine rushes in your brain, and that's an addictive behavior, and they know that. And what was interesting, if you ever watch The Network Effect, they had some interviews with people who were in quite high up positions in companies like Facebook, and they said the worst thing you can do to a teenager under 16 is give them a phone with social media on, and they didn't allow. So I think this was an interview with a guy from Facebook, and he said, I don't allow my children to have Facebook accounts. So that tells you something, where the people who are selling you the stuff, and if it's free, you're the product, is an old marketing axiom, and it's very true. So these things are addictive, so if you can get rid of them, it's good, because they disrupt your thinking, they disrupt your ability to create. Just fucking purge them. If you don't need them, purge them from your life, replace them with something more productive. If you need to keep in touch with your friends, my recommendation is to have small WhatsApp groups on your phone, because and don't have notifications turned on. If you have to keep in touch with people, do it like that. And the other thing that I don't think I've put in the slides is, when you're writing, turn your phone off and put it in another room. And the other thing you can do, if you have to use any social media, set strict time limits per day that you can use it for. And there are apps. You can Google this. I'm not going to recommend any, because I don't need them, so I don't use them. But I know they exist. There are apps you can get that will restrict the amount of time your devices can go online to these places. Okay, third idea is repurpose your dead time. Now, the first two, which was stop watching TV, minimize or get rid of social media, were things to strike from your life to make more writing time or more reading time, which is always good for writers. The third one is how you can repurpose time activities that you can't change for various reasons and make them more valuable. I even wrote a book on this called How to Write in Your Dead Time. This is about how to write using dictation with your iPhone and the Notes app that ships with the iPhone, so you don't need any fancy tools or gadgets. And if you've got an Android phone, I believe, I don't know 100% for sure because I don't have an Android phone, but I believe there are similar apps that ship natively, or you can get very cheaply on the Google Play Store or somewhere like that, to dictate on your phone. So what you need to do is find pockets of dead time in your life, and very quickly I define dead time as things like, let's say you have to walk the dog every day for 45 minutes, or let's say you commute to work and the commute is a 30-minute drive in the car, or a 30-minute train ride. You have to do those things, but those things are kind of like dead time because you have to do them. They involve usually going from one point to another that you have to do, or if you have to do the school run and wait for your kids, you're 15 minutes early, you've got 15 minutes of dead time there. So if you repurpose those periods of time, that will make you more productive. So one way to do that is if you can dictate some words into your phone for your story. That's great. If you can't, you can listen to audiobooks, which is part of filling the tank. Every writer should read. There's a video on my channel somewhere. I'll put it in the recommended videos at the end of this video, where I take an idea from a science fiction writer called Stephen Barnes, where he says you should read 10 times the amount you are going to write each day. So if you're planning to write 500 words every day, you should be reading 5,000 words a day, and ideally you should also be reading one level up from the level that you're aspiring to write at. But as I've said, this is the third time now, if you only get 250 words a day doing this, that's another 90,000 words in the next 12 months. 90,000 words is a bucket of short stories, or maybe anything from 5 to 10 novellas, maybe not quite as many as 10, maybe more like between 5 and 8, or it's a 90,000 word novel. So the compound interest effect of this will really pay. 250 words a day sounds like it's nothing, and there's a reason why I chose 250 words a day to use for this video, because it's an amount that's not big enough to be overwhelming. If I said to you need to write 2,000 words a day for the next year, most people would freak out because that sounds like a lot, and it is. But if I say if you can do 200 or 250 words a day and add that to your fiction writing word counts, that doesn't sound like very much, but over 12 months it's a massive amount. So here's a quick dictation hack for you. So I write in the mornings. I don't know when you write. I'm going to say to do this in the morning, but if you write in the evenings, do it in the evenings. So what you do is when you start writing for the day, first of all, go for a 10 to 15 minute walk and dictate 250 to 500 words. I take 3 times 5-inch index cards and make little scene cards out of them, so I've got prompts to look at. You only need 1 or 2 for 250 words or 500 words, and what you need to write on them, it will vary from author to author. So work out what you need to write that. I know what I need to write, I write that. Then when you've done that dictation, you get home, you export it to your computer while you're making coffee or whatever you need to do to prepare for a proper writing session. And before you start your proper writing session, you edit those words. What I find is, because I'm much more accomplished at writing via the keyboard than I am at writing via dictation, so what I find is, if you think of writing via the keyboard as draft 1, then writing via dictation is draft 0.5. So it needs editing before it can go to be first draft words. But by the time you've edited it, your brain will be ready and warmed up and ready to add more words. The number of times I've done this, mostly with non-fiction, but I've done it with fiction too, where I go away and I dictate for 15-20 minutes and I come back with 700 words, and I think, okay, I've written in my dead time, I've got my word count that I wanted to do today on my piece, and I've got the first section of a bit written, and I edit it, and by the time, and the trick is, for me, I use a writing playlist that I use for all my writing activities. It's the same piece of music every time. I've listened to it probably 10,000 times since I picked it up in 2006, and I use that when I'm editing dictated words, and so the brain hears the music and it goes, we're in writing mode, and literally it's now like flicking a switch. Sit down, headphones on, writing music, bang, I'm straight into flow and writing. Once the first 10 words are on the page, I'm gone. As Stephen King would say, I've gone through the hole in the page. What I find is, by the time you've edited something, your brain has made that transition. So you've brought that 700, 500 words, whatever you've dictated, brought it up to first draft level. It might take 5 minutes to do that, 10 minutes maybe, but it serves as a warm-up, and you're ready to go. And you're in an ideal scenario, you'll know where the scene that you've just dictated leads to, and you'll just fly from there. It's a great hack to to get words on the page initially, and then to go from getting those words on the page to adding more words on the page. And it just serves as a great warm-up. So try that for a week and see if it works for you. It may not work for you. I find it's like magic. If I go for a 10-minute walk around the block, dictate what I need to do, come back straight to the computer, edit it, bang, by the time I've finished editing, I'm in flow and the words carry on. So that's something I found really useful. Hopefully you will find that useful. Okay, closing out. Writers need to do two things mainly in their activities as a writer. First one is write, the second one is read, and you read to fill the tanks. I've talked about filling the tanks already and in another video, so I won't belabor that point. Pick one of the ideas I've explored in the video and implement it. Remember, an extra 250 words a day is 90,000 words. If you did all three, so you stop watching the shit on the TV, and most of TV is shit. You stop using social media, which is mostly brain rot, and then you repurpose any periods of dead time you've got in your life, and with each of those you can add 250 words a day. That's 270,000 words over the next 12 months, which is like Brandon Sanderson levels of productivity. And so you don't, to produce lots of words, you don't have to do it in big chunks. You can do it in 250, 500 word chunks a day, and I've given you 3 ways of enabling that in your writing life. So hopefully you'll go and try with one of them, and then when you've done one of them, you'll go, okay, that worked for me and I'm doing this, and you move on and pick another one and do that as well. Ideally, get rid of TV and repurpose your dead time. That will add 500 words a day easily to your daily output. So please try them and then let me know what you do. These kind of ideas, productivity ideas, as well as more general writing ideas, are kind of resources I'm putting together in the Writing Vault, which is a resource for beginner writers and or frustrated fiction writers. If that's you, the URL's there on the screen. It'll be in the description below, linked. You can click to it from the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Go and check that out, see if that might be a fit for you. If you've got any questions on that or anything in this video, don't hesitate to email me at paul@deliberate-practice.com. Thank you for your time with this video today. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll leave you with some recommended videos from my channel.